fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who do just what they say, the brave men of the Green Beret, silver wings.
Thanks for joining us on the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show tonight with our host, Johnny. We will be talking about what's going on the U.S.-Mexican border and other issues that are going on in Washington, D.C., as well as around America. So I will now turn the mic over to Johnny. So here's Johnny.
Thank you, Chuck, for, Pete, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Show. We're going to give you some updated information on the border that we found out tonight. We got a lot of news, including some indictments that were unsealed, and some cues. So I'm going to start with down on the border. Our news is I got a call today from our man on the border. He said there was raining real hard. He said it had been raining. He said if anyone they try to come across the border right now, they'll sink to their axles. So maybe that's a good thing unless they're walking across. But he says it's been quiet on the border, and he was checking with the Border Patrol to see what kind of action was there. He hadn't got back to me yet. So if he gets back to me, I will let you all know. Now, one of the things we are doing, we do have groups that are headed this direction that we are reporting here to where we're going to be then sending them down to the border. We've got to vet them. We have to have their license plate numbers, their names, everything, so it can be turned over to the Border Patrol because the Border Patrol is working with us. And hopefully the weather down there will hold up the caravans that are going. One of the things I heard is there's somewhere along the line, 3,000 of these immigrants just come up missing. Nobody knows where they're at. I don't know if they were the immigrants or if it was the people that are coming to invade us. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get more information on that. Another thing, and I support them 100%. I heard today, I was listening to a radio show that was sent to me, and they were putting out warnings about groups that are asking for donations continuously, and the guy called it e-begging. And I want to let folks know we're not e-begging. We are asking, we're 100% for stopping anybody that is not getting their funds for the reasons they say. Our funds go right straight to our men on the border, help them when they need help. Without the help that we ask for, we can't make sure that they're taken care of. Now, our next show, which will be Monday, we are posting our records so everybody can see where the money has been spent, that we have spent so far. That is for the people on the border and taking care of small expenses that we have, like our internet and our machines, our printers, stuff like that, for supplies and stuff, because we do use it for the work we do. But that's the only thing we do use it for. However, we are very upfront of where our funds go, who's using it, where's it going, which I do not have access to the funds myself. It's all handled through a different department through us, and we try to keep everything on the up and up in every direction we can, just so people know that we are being honest with where all funds go to. Down on the border, we've had information from our gentleman down on the border, or that's in Mexico, and there are child trafficking between 13 and 18 years old that they are bringing to the borders right now. One of the crossing spots we know is in Arizona. The other crossing spot that we know, there's 2, possibly 3 of them coming through into New Mexico. Now on the border, we're still down there by ourselves. We have nobody, and I mean no military whatsoever. Right now it's really quiet down there. I call it the quiet for the storm, but they are being tracked that are coming. So we know exactly where they're at. And when we know when they're just a couple days out from our border, that is when our boots are going to be on the ground in force. But that's the update on that. Now, if you do want to donate to help us, we do have a PayPal account in the United Constitutional Patriot page. If you want to donate supplies, gas cards, food, whatever is needed on the border, when the men are down there, they are in tents. They are not in any way in motels or anything. So they need things that can help them keep warm. Supplies, we've given them out a lot of times. In fact, I will have somebody give an update of exactly what is needed on the border, which Nuclear Warrior will do that probably because he's really good at that. Now, we did receive some radios from Mike, and I appreciate it. It was highly needed. These radios can save lives. We also have, I got another call where we have 11 more of these radios that are on their way here. They should be here Monday or Tuesday. These will be used for communication on the border. Another thing that is badly needed, that's going to be badly needed down there, are night vision. When people come across the border, they come across usually at nighttime between 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and daylight. And that is when everybody has to have their head on a swivel and be very careful. Now, we need very well trained for some of these operations down there, especially where they're bringing the children across. We need men that are trained, military trained, that can deal with this. The people, I understand, that are bringing these 13 to 18-year-old kids in for sex trafficking. In fact, we even know the town they're coming out of. But the people that are bringing them in are armed and they will fight. So this is not an easy deal. Now, when the ones that are on the border, when they catch them at the border coming in, they hold them there for the Border Patrol. We contact the Border Patrol. Border Patrol comes and picks them up. And I seen where they said that somebody on another deal said that they're just picking them up and releasing them. That is not true. Everybody coming across that border is going to jail, and they're not getting out. There is no more catch and release. That has been done away with. Trump made sure of that. But we're going to be on that border for at least 3 years until we get this border wall up. And you know, I expect to be attacked by different groups trying to stop us for what we're doing. I guess on a different agenda of protecting America, protecting your constitutional rights, and protecting your children. I guess they're on a different agenda than what we are. But that's my update. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Yeah, you hit a couple interesting topics there, Johnny, and this goes back to trolling. And I don't know how many of you folks out there social network, but you're listening to YouTube right now, so you absolutely use the internet a little bit. And it's kind of an interesting story how, especially like right now, I'm getting Q trolls, like Q deniers. But anybody who's actually followed Q all along really couldn't deny that these people, this team, whoever Q is, gets information that other people can't get and gets it before anybody else knows. I mean, I think that's pretty well proven at this point. But it goes back to, I believe it was 2015. And I was sharing the new Clinton Chronicles to 50 million people in faith-based groups, by the way. And they came up with this idea of hiring trolls from other countries. And I get these all day long right now from Ghana and Nigeria, by the way, on Messenger, like all supposed to be beautiful women. And I'm like, I don't think you're from Nigeria. Anyway, you can connect those dots. Anyway, but this trolling, so I actually went on Fox News radio here, and I was the first person to ever reveal that trolling existed, And these people are often paid. Back then, it was actually from Bangladesh. The first trolls that Hillary Clinton had hired were from Bangladesh, and they just terrorized patriots on Facebook in the groups. And the more that you engage with them, the more they get paid. So, you really don't want to like start arguing with a paid troll. What I would do back then, they would start to argue about something, and I would just paste the new Clinton Chronicles. I'd copy and paste it right on the reply line, and then I would just walk away. And that way I turned their trolling into my advertisement, and I didn't engage them. So they didn't get paid a whole lot for getting me to engage them. So that's the way that trolling works. And yeah, it's going on a lot right now. Like I say, they really hit us hard out of Nigeria and Ghana right now. There's a lot of people that are now targeting people in the Q movement, and of course they're going to target groups like us. So what we, and I actually teach this as people that know about the American Watersheds textbook and lecture series. This is one of the things that I go over, that everyone actually should go to all their community organizations and take a look at how they spend their money. I'm very big on this. This is where I began in nonprofit. I saw a whole bunch of different corruption. So I actually sympathize and actually support these people that do say that, watch who you give your money to. But obviously, since I write the textbooks, I've done my homework right here. And I think we have a wonderful, solid team here now. And like I say, they post them once a month. But you have the right to do that, actually. You have a right to go into your community organizations. And if they're taking public money and grants, then you have a right as a local citizen to see what they're doing. Now, no one wants to do that. It makes you uncomfortable, but it's something as a patriot that the way we're going to take our country back is by communities and rooting out corruption, whether it's the local. I hate to say this, but it could be your local church, it could be your local community organization, it could be your local government. Here our local government has been caught many times by the libertarians, just a few libertarians that monitor, how public money is spent, and then it goes over to some private development project, which isn't supposed to happen, and things like that. So it's something that we do support here. We support the idea that you should definitely audit locally, watch how your government's spending, raise questions. Ed Johnson can teach you about how you can actually file when you see misappropriations of public money by your state and local government. So we do recommend you go to Oregon Trackers. I'm going to keep pushing Ed Johnston as the constitutionalist, because he's really into this kind of stuff and really teaches you how to root out local corruption and local problems and state corruption, and knows a lot about federal corruption and how to attack that as well. So he's got a really exciting program where he teaches the Constitution. You can hear it on Oregon Trackers on YouTube. But just touching on a little bit of the news that some of the other people missed today. If you were reading the justice.gov site, I thought there was something really interesting, some interesting things in there. One was that nobody in the news was picking up was this Cassandra investigation. Remember, Obama, as part of his Iran deal, allowed Hezbollah to move $1 billion in cocaine here in America, and then took those profits and ran it through the banking system. And since they were sanctioned as a terrorist group, it's illegal. They were under sanction to allow them to launder this money through the American financial system. And that's what they did. There were two different charges, one for 50 million and one for $1 billion. And I believe 4 people were convicted orchestrating this. But of course, it leads directly to Barack Obama, who put the okay on this. What did he do? Give 5 terrorist generals back to the Taliban who are fighting us. He gave them $150 billion, and he let Hezbollah move $1 billion in cocaine to Americans, and take those profits and launder them back to the Hezbollah terrorist organization. So I thought that was a pretty big story that nobody else was bringing up today. Of course, I know I'll let Chuck hit a lot of the news, but of course, Comey did testify today, but then went in and said nothing. But I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work. You can go in and take the Fifth Amendment if you're indicted on a committee subpoena, I don't think you're allowed to take the fifth, but of course the FBI, they think they're a branch of government and they don't have to listen to Senate oversight or anything like that, which is probably going to lead us into a situation where a lot of these people the DOJ and FBI are going to be tried by the military, because when your Department of Justice and your FBI have gone completely corrupt, the only thing that you can do is they have oversight from the military, who's completely independent, has their own independent investigative organizations, and can try senators and FBI officials and leaders and anybody they want, because ultimately the commander in chief and the military investigation side does have the ultimate authority. I don't know if martial law has to be declared for that. I believe that is already the situation. I guess that's up to someone who knows more about the law than I do. But I know that at least the executive order for that has been written, and I think it might take another declaration. But if we do have martial law, personally, I think that it would be in selected areas as it went through. I don't think that for President Trump's just going to shut the whole country down and cause a stock market panic and all this kind of thing. It would be done in a controlled manner, and as he goes across the country. That's the way that I see it. In just certain areas where they're going after certain people, they're going to shut it down for just a minute. That's the way I see it, though. So we'll see how this all really plays out. We've got Huber coming up to the 13th now, that's going to testify about the Clinton investigation and what he found as a prosecutor and what his prosecutors have for indictments, along with 2 whistleblowers. So that's coming up just this Thursday, and that's something really exciting. I thought we had Loretta Lynch coming aboard to testify, but I think she's already rolled over. So I don't know that that's really so necessary right now. But yeah, Mr. Comey was very smug, and I personally can't understand why they don't just put him right in handcuffs. But I guess we'll just have to see. We have to trust the plan. I was frustrated this morning. I was tweeting the president. I said, we need a major arrest before Christmas. Our family's got to go back to Christmas with a little vindication here, So, but then I remembered, back when I was reading some old cues, and I remembered that, we have to trust the president. This is all happening on a certain timeline. Their lives are in danger every single minute, just like Q said. And so, we have to trust them that they're doing the right things. I mean, if they thought they could do things faster, they would, with the dangerous situation that they're in, fighting this globalist deep state. But we have to trust them that it's going to happen in the time that it's supposed to happen. However, this is supposed to happen, that hopefully some of these people, now we've had 28 people at the DOJ and the FBI that have been forced out. And obviously they didn't get forced out willingly, and you would have to have cause. Therefore, they're probably going to be facing indictments, and those would be a lot of these sealed indictments that we're seeing. There was trolls coming on saying, well, there's 100,000 indictments every year. Well, yes, there's 100,000 regular indictments every year. And on top of that, there's usually 1,100 or so sealed indictments. But this year we're having 63,000 last I checked. QMAP hasn't updated. Some other people were posting 66,000. But remember, when you see the bigger number, you have to take out the ones that have been unsealed. So you have to take out those 6,000. So I actually believe QMAP.pub is correct. 63,228 sealed indictments currently. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And it's an exciting movie, and we have faith in the Patriots and faith in God that we're going to win in the end. So that's about all I had to say about that. Hold on, I've got to run here, but go ahead, take over, Johnny.
Thank you, Greg. I want to stress before I bring on the next person again, I don't think I gave the address where to send donations to with camping supplies, stuff like this, food, stuff like that. What I am going to say is you can mail packages that you want to help out with, to help these people on the border, from everything from anything they use in camping is what they need. That's about as open as I can be. They need snake bite kits. There are snakes down there. It is warm during the day and the snakes are out. You're 400 miles south of us, and you're in Mexico or right on the Mexican border, and it is a lot warmer. than up here in the foothills of the Rockies. But you can send it to John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney, but send it to United Constitutional Patriots in care of John Horton or Mark Cheney. Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. Again, that is United Constitutional Patriots in care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney, at P.O. Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. Our donations, if you want to do financial donations, we do have on the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page. We've got PayPal on there. You can go in on there and you can make your donations that way. Anything helps, folks. These guys are putting their butt on the line for America. They're putting their butt on the line for the people of New Mexico. They're doing it for you guys, is for everybody's children. We're not down there because we want to be. We're down there because we have no choice. Somebody's got to protect the border here until Trump is able to move the military in. However, we have been told that he is patrolling the New Mexico border with drones. And that came from pretty solid information. When the men were down there, they seen drones, but we didn't know if it was from Mexico or where it was from. Well, evidently, this is drones belong to the armed forces. So with that, I'm gonna go from this. I'm gonna go to Nuclear Warrior. You guys, anything you want to say, sir?
Thank you, Johnny. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to highlight a little bit on Greg's topic there with the needs for having a war or declared war. As you can recall, George H.W. Bush back in 1991 came to the aid of Kuwait and sent troops into the Middle East and Iraq. I don't know if at that time if he declared that a act of war on terror, but come along George W. after 9/11, he pretty much did declare the war on terror and signed executive orders to that effect. And that's what's needed in order to activate the military tribunals. Military tribunals exist to deal with traitorous acts against the sovereign United States. And generally, when you have a military tribunal, you are completely under the jurisdiction of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The tribunals do not have attorneys and all that stuff that are given to you if you can't afford one. You're brought up on charges. It's kind of like a bench trial with only a limited number of people involved. Generally, there's a minimum of 3 on the tribunal board. It can be as many as 21 or more, depending on how many expert witnesses and those folks having direct knowledge of the Treasonous Act, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in order for all that to take place, GW declared the war on terror, allowing the tribunals to go in, which is how these treacherous acts are going to be dealt with. Now, the cabal, as you know, pretty much needs a war in order for them to survive and to also gain more influence, power, money, etc. And George gave them exactly what they needed to make that happen. That's why we've been in a continuous state of war now for well over 10 years. But enough on that subject. Just know that most of these people that are going to be arrested are going to be tried under military tribunals. Okay, moving on. The people that are volunteering to go down to the border and act as the eyes and boots and ears on the ground for those of us, so that we know somebody's watching in case folks try to come through. A lot of these folks are veterans which means that for the second time in their life, they have written the blank check to us, the American people, and that includes everything up to and including their life in order to fulfill the freedoms that we enjoy to this day. So they're going to need some help from us, and I think it's only natural that we try to help them because they're putting it on the line for us. They're going to need equipment. They're going to need warm accommodations, sleeping bags, heavier clothing, tents, sheltering, stuff of that nature. It is wintertime. It gets a little cold down there on the desert floor at night because it's so dry. Warms up somewhat nicely during the day, but still, it's an elemental exposure that they're going to need some protection against. Things like I mentioned, sleeping bags, blankets, tents, cots, if they can implement those, food and water. Now, the best types of food would be those that are freeze-dried because they store practically forever. They're easy to prepare, and there's no water down there on the border, so we have to help them get that as well. Other equipment, night vision, flashlights, radios, portable generators, quiet, small, away from the actual watch stations, so that they can have a few of the amenities of home, like being able to charge up their cell phones, being able to charge up their radios, maybe watch a video or a movie or something on a notebook computer or an iPod, what have you. So these are just some of the things that would be nice to have on the border. Freeze-dried foods, keep forever. Water, as much as we can get to them to help them get more meals prepared. Canned goods like spam, chili, vegetables. Spam especially because that's a protein source. It's also a fat source, and it does store for quite a long time. Ask the folks in Hawaii before it became a state. They lived on that for quite a long time while the war was going on. I don't know of much else I can tell you. All I know is that I've made a sizable donation, and I am going to continue to do so as my finances will allow, because this is a cause that I truly believe in. It is essential that we protect that border, especially the one with Mexico, but we also need to consider the northern border as well. There is a lot of infiltration that has been coming through the northern border as well. And I'll let the general discuss that in a bit when I turn it back over to him. So, folks, say prayers. If you cannot afford monetary donations or equipment donations, prayers with prayer groups. Group prayer is stronger than any one person and any totaled up by person could ever be. So keep that in mind as well. Johnny, I think that's all I've got for tonight. I'm going to give it back to you, and we'll move the program along.
Thank you, Nuclear War. I appreciate it, brother. Okay, She-Wolf, is there anything you want to add in here? I know she's been doing a lot of research. Go ahead, She-Wolf.
Oh, no, not at this time. Doing a lot of research. I guess my dog wanted to talk.
Oh, okay. Deb, you got anything, or Dr. Robinson, you got anything you want to say? I guess she's doing something, probably cooking for her husband, Mike.
Oh, she was muted, Johnny. She's ready.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
I'm sorry. I don't have anything at the moment. Stay tuned, though, because I'm trying to pin down maybe the time frame for the martial law.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully you can get that for us. We do have a time frame for martial law, ladies and gentlemen, and we're trying to get that to you also. Okay, War Dog Mike, you got anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, I do, General. I just want to say that you hadn't said much about your truck being broke down, but I'm going to say something about it. Our General Horton, his truck, transmission's going out in it, and he won't say a thing about it, but I'm going to say something about it. If y'all can help out and get his truck back on the road. That's why he can't get the mailbox a lot of times. And I'm going to say something about it. And John, you need to get that tried fixed. And I know that every penny goes to them, and you won't take no money out to fix your truck. But I'm going to ask somebody, and if they will try to help get his truck fixed so he can get around. And I just want to say that, Johnny. Okay.
Okay, Mike. You know what? This money's not for me. It's for the men. I've got enough men here, those vehicles that they can get me around if I need be, and they don't mind taking me someplace. Yeah, that's inconvenient for me, but these men need that money, not me. Everybody thinks that I'm rich or something. Well, I don't. And, I get my VA disability, and that's all I get, and that's what I live on. And I'm able to pay my bills between that and my wife's Social Security. We're able to get by. We may not have much, but we got our faith in God to get us through every month, and He does. And that's all that really matters to me on that. Anybody else want to have anything to say? Okay, Chuck. We have some cues tonight, folks. We'll let Chuck go through them, if you don't mind, Chuck.
No, sir, I don't mind at all. I'm going to have to go ahead and put myself on voice activated, so give me one moment, please.
Okay. While he's doing that, folks, again, for the donations for the men when they're on the border, to keep them in supplies, we do need your help, your prayers. For those of you that can donate, I don't care if it's just $1. You can donate to the PayPal, through the United Constitutional Patriot Facebook page. You can Google it; it'll pop right up. We also have pictures of the border showing that it is totally wide open down there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when I say wide open, they got a 3-foot fence. You can see the videos, and you can also see the pictures where our men went down there because nobody believed that the border was totally open, no military, anything. And you can see miles and miles and miles of nothing but the border desert. And, this isn't good, because when they do come through, we're going to have boots on the ground to stop them. Otherwise, this invasion is going to be an invasion in our country. I've said it before. When somebody's coming to our country is friendly, you don't burn the American flag, and you don't carry your country flag if you're coming here for the right reasons. I have no problem with illegals coming across here as long as they do it legally by going through the right paperwork and be coming in here with the right paperwork. With that, you can also make your I call hard donations, like food, supplies, radios, whatever we need for the men. You can make it to the United Constitutional Patriots at send to John Horton or Mark Cheney, it's Cheney, at P.O. Box 1334, Florida Vista, New Mexico, 87415. I appreciate anything you folks can do, but one thing that's one of the strongest things in the world is prayer. These gentlemen are going to need prayer. They have wives and kids. They're leaving again to go to the border to protect our country. Once again, putting their life on the line. People don't realize how serious it is down there. And a lot of people don't believe this could be happening, but it is happening, folks. Again, for those of you that want to see our records, Monday, or our Monday show, we will post our records showing what we'll wear so everybody can see them. We have nothing to hide. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Chuck.
Okay. Is my volume good at this point?
It's perfect.
Okay, fantastic. First of all, before we go to the cues, folks, I wanted to do a little bit of a report of my own. A while ago, we were listening to Greg speak, and he was talking about, having faith in Q and president's doing and this, that. There's a lot of people because that tend to, because they don't see a lot of things happening at the moment, or they tend to get on one of these depressive moods and thinking nothing's happening and nothing's going on. But think about it for just a minute. Got Let me list a few things for you that's happened in just the last what, couple of months or so. Okay, you've got No Name, John McCain executed, Barbara Bush executed, George H.W. executed. We've got the Clinton Foundation. It's come back up. We've got 3 whistleblowers now that have come forward. You've got the Clinton Foundation was just ordered to cease operations. Okay, you've got Warren, or you got Chelsea, who was the CEO for the Clinton Foundation, charged with fraud. Warrants issued for her arrest, and I understand she is now in jail. You've got James Comey was in D.C. today. Now, some folks are thinking, well, they're going to put that off, or they're going to try to drag that out until Democrats get Congress back, and they won't do nothing. Well, James Comey, they postponed all those testimonies from the 3rd to 4th because of H.W.'s funeral. But James Comey was in town today. He was in Washington, D.C. today on D7, December the 7th, for closed door testimony. Now, my understanding is that Mr. Comey was not very cooperative with the GOP representatives that questioned him, but he was there. Okay. Then we've got some other interesting things going on. Did you happen to watch the funeral? I'm talking about George H.W. Bush's funeral. There was a lot of news coverage on it, but if you watched closely, like many of us here at the United Constitutional Patriots did, if you observed, if you paid real close attention to things, you probably noticed some very interesting things happening. One, every one of the top line deep staters was there, and they were kind of like all set in the same row, and they were all chatty, and they were all talking to each other, this, that, and the other, until President Trump and the First Lady came in. And they all kind of got just a little bit quiet. Okay? Also, you probably noticed that every one of them had what I strongly suspect, was probably a funeral program, that contained the hymns that were going to be sung and this, that, and they usually pass one of those out when you go to a funeral. And each one of them had one of them. It was white colored. It was like a white, thing of, pages of whatever. If you watch closely, Hillary was sitting there. She went through hers, and an envelope dropped out. She got a message. She read her message, and it was right after, not too awful long after she read her message, her eyes kind of started rolling, behaving rather strangely. Sitting right next to her was the 39th President of the United States, James R. Carter, and he saw the envelope fall out of hers while he started flipping through his little thing there looking for his, and he didn't find one. Rather interesting that he didn't get one, but he didn't find one in there. So he's craning his neck trying to see what was in hers. I don't think he really wanted one. Okay, then another interesting thing that happened was you had Laura Bush, which is George W. Bush's wife. was standing there. She had hers out there. They were back a little ways from the front row. They weren't exactly in the front row. But he came down, George W. He came down and he shook hands with everybody in the front row. But when he got to Michelle Michael Obama, he handed her something. There's another handoff. You probably remember seeing some kind of a handoff from Huma Abedin to Lindsey Graham at McCain's funeral. Well, here at George W.'s funeral, you had another handoff. This time it was W handing something off to Michelle / Michael. There's been a lot of speculation of what that was. Could it have been a thumb drive? Was it a note of some kind? You know, a lot of speculation going on that. Well, then you have Laura Bush, George W.'s wife, and by the way, W was kind of standing in front of her. She's standing there and she's got her program. She's looking at her program, and all of a sudden she sees something in that program that caused a look of panic to come across her face and caused her face to go ashen white. Right behind her was younger brother Jeb Bush, W's brother, and she held that thing up and showed it to him, and all of a sudden he had a look of horror on his face. So now everybody's speculating as to what they saw in that program. What was it that they were looking at that caused them such horror? One of the speculations, just to let you know, is that while all of the deep staters, all of those folks were at the funeral, either their homes were being raided pre-arrest, okay, or as Brendan Dilley put it, their bolt holes were being raided. Now, what is a bolt hole? Well, no, it's not the hole that your deadbolt lock goes into. No, that's not what it is. I did a little research on that to see if I could find out what bolt hole referred to. And it turns out that bolt hole refers to a place of safety, okay? A place where you could go to get away from others, or in these folks' case, it apparently was the place that they were planning to run to or bolt to when the time came, okay? If you know what I mean. So it could very well have been the places or the holes, if you will, that they were planning to bolt to that were raided. But something was definitely going on there. So you've got all of that going on, and some folks still think there's nothing going on. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you something. There's a whole lot going on. There was an old saying once upon a time among the patriot groups that said, the revolution will not be televised. Well, a lot of this stuff is going on, but the mainstream media, who is in cahoots with the deep state, aren't going to televise it. They want you to think status quo. Okay, well, we do have just a few cues. We had a couple came in. The other night, it was December the 5th, I believe it was, when we did our last show. We had a couple come in last night, and we had about 4 come in today. They're not very long, so I shall read them to you. Cue number 2560, and some of these are rather interesting, folks. That's why I get a kick out of reading these, and I think people get a kick out of knowing what Q is saying. Okay, Q2560 starts out with a thehill.com link that says feds received whistleblower evidence in 2017 alleging Clinton Foundation. Okay, it was something to do with the Clinton Foundation. Q says, read carefully. Why is the Clinton Foundation back in the news? And by the way, we're actually up to three, count them, three whistleblowers from inside the Clinton Foundation now. Okay, Q 2561. He repeats 2560, so we won't read that again. And then Q says, when did POTUS make the statement, calm before the storm? Now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that was like I think it was something like 15 or 20 days. I have to go back and count them up, but I think it was like 15 or 20 days, something like that, before Q started posting. When was Huber activated by Sessions? Who is assigned to Huber? Acting Attorney General. Primary purpose. Scaramucci model. In other words, the acting Attorney General was put in that position to get rid of a few others that needed to be got rid of. Okay. Public opinion. Optics do not matter. Okay. What was leaked today on purpose? And there's a Fox News status, okay, that basically tells what was leaked. And what was leaked was that Trump wants to nominate William Barr to be the next Attorney General. Barr served as Attorney General during the Bush 41 presidency. While POTUS normally likes to surround himself with people he knows and likes, he doesn't know Barr, but Barr commands immense respect. Some are thinking that he may have done that, okay, so that they can't come back later and say, well, he's just pointing somebody like Trey Gowdy to get his enemies or something like that. I don't know exactly what's going on there. Okay, now, 2562, Q number 2562 came in this morning, and it says, okay, there is a Fox News video. I guess there's some music on there. They said, interesting music for Fox News, question mark. Sound familiar? I haven't played it, so I'm not sure exactly what it is. Then it says, why all of a sudden are people talking about the Clinton Foundation, including whistleblowers, 3 of them now, and hidden company established to investigate covertly ex-ABCs, question mark. Would you go public if the investigation was still ongoing? Q is indicating here that the investigation is complete. What happens when you have enough evidence to proceed? Again, he's indicating to us that the investigation of the Clinton Foundation has been completed and they're now ready to prosecute, folks. What is the benefit of educating the public prior to proceeding? Then he's got Comey with the Y in the kill box. Q. Okay. Q 2563. All right. We have another Twitter status. It's civilian mill air status, and what they're showing you on that is that Air Force One, when it took to the air to go to Missouri earlier today, used the call sign Q0. As Q says, how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? Well, it's already mathematically impossible. And he says, where is the plus on a mobile phone when dialing? Trolling the fake news media is fun. At some point, the Q will be asked. In other words, at some point, the question will be asked by somebody in the media, who is Q? They don't want to ask that of the president or anybody that would know who Q is, because they don't want to verify that Q is real. Okay? Q 2564. I got 2 more, folks. Q 2564. An anonymous on the 8chan post and says, operators on standby. Q plus, Q0. That was the call sign of Air Force One today. And Q responded to that and said, operators are active. Q. And last but not least, Q2565 says Scott Free equals where we go one, we go all. Scott Free was the production company that put out the movie White Squall, which is where the where we go one, we go all comes from. Okay, Q0 equals Q plus. At what point do they wake up? Question mark Q. Now, Q0 equals Q plus. Well, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. Q plus refers to the 18th letter of the alphabet, which is R, which is the letter that JFK Jr. Began to post under on the chans back on July the 23rd. So he says Q0 equals Q plus. It's JFK Jr., folks. Have a good evening, and brother and Commander Johnny, back to you.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay, folks. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Well, I'm back, I guess, Johnny. I could say a little something. But yeah, I read that differently. I don't know who had that interpretation. I read that something Q said that what symbol is under the zero, and it's the plus. So Q plus, as we know, and I think he says A1 there, is, I believe Q plus is actually President Trump. That would be my guess from my interpretation of that Q plus is President Trump, and that Q0 was Air Force One's code, and that under the zero on your cell phone, if you look at your cell phone, what symbol is part of zero? Under the zero, you see a plus sign. So you see you have Q plus. But that's just the way I read it. We're all interpreting the Qs differently, but I thought Chuck did a good job rounding up most of the news that's out there. So it's crazy time. It's Christmas. I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and so we'll just keep the faith, and we'll keep reading our Q and think of it as a spy story. And if people aren't real, they don't believe it at Christmas or whatever, just let it go, because things are happening like Chuck says, and there's a lot of good things that are going to be happening. So just smile and know you get the last laugh, and there's no use arguing with people, and there's definitely no reason to engage trolls, which the better you get at being a patriot, and the more you get out in social networking, the more you're going to get trolled. And, depending if you're in a group, you don't have to necessarily block them. You could leave a remark, or a paste, something there. So anyway, we'll all be getting that the more you do social networking. I just want to bring it back to that a little bit. But I guess that's all I have to say for tonight, Johnny. Hopefully you'll support us down there on the border. I want to catch these evil people that are smuggling kids and selling them into sex trafficking, all this kind of stuff. So support the United Constitutional Patriots. I think to date, we've raised on our group here has raised a couple thousand, and we account for every penny. We're not the United Way, and every dollar really does help somebody along the way. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, folks, and I want to say something else. Thank you very much on that. I'll get you here in a couple seconds, New Year Warrior. Down on the border, our information on these kids is coming from on the other side of the border. There's a gentleman, I'm not going to say where, anything that could possibly get him in trouble, but he is working with us, getting us the information, and we are getting it to the proper authorities in Washington. So I just want you to know that these kids, he said, there's 380 kids that they're planning on bringing across in a rush deal, 13 to 18 years old. They're bringing these young ladies across for sex trafficking, and we need help. When we go to the border, we need help to help catch these people so we can return these kids back to their families. I mean, think about it, folks. And that's why we ask for your prayers as well for the safety of these men, because it's going to be more dangerous than just being on the border working with Border Patrol. Border Patrol is working with us. We are working with them hand in hand. They know we're coming with more men, and we need just as many men as we can. So you guys out there that have kids, think about it. What if this was your kids? Would you want help getting them back? if a patriot group has the way to do it, wouldn't you be awful happy to have your kids back in your arms again in your home for Christmas? That's what it's about, folks. That's what just part of this is about. That's why I'm praying. I'm praying to God we have some miracle that we get some get more finances, because we don't have enough finances right now that has been donated. We don't have enough to last down there for 2 months. And these people are going to be on the border. This is an ongoing thing that's been going on. We're going to stop this with or without the help of the people. We owe it to our children. We owe it to the families. It's not anything about us. It's about them. It is anything about what we're doing. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for America, because we are constitutionalists. We believe in the Constitution. We do not condone what is coming across that border. And when the United Nations gets across that border, then people are going to be losing their lives again. The more we have on the border, the more we have a chance. Look at the Alamo. 120 some people held the Alamo. You know what? I don't want this to be like the Alamo, folks, because we don't have a building to be in. Tents don't stop bullets. So think about that. These people are not coming across here to be friends. So if you can donate, please donate, so we are able to help and take care of the men so they can stay on that border down there. You can send donations to the United Constitutional Patriots PayPal on Facebook. It's like I said, all you have to do is Google United Constitutional Patriots, and it'll show up. Also, too, if you want to donate camping gear, anything, the list that Nuclear Warrior gave you, if you can send any of that, flashlights, high velocity lights would help great. But if you can send any of that, please send it to United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney, Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. I want to say thank you, and we're going to have Chuck close the show up. So go ahead. We had Nuclear Warrior. He had something he wanted to say.
Hello again, folks. Just to reiterate there, Johnny's talking about the flashlights, LED flashlights, because if you drop it, you're not going to break the bulb, and they'll just hold up better. Also, while we're watching the borders, you folks can help us out tremendously by watching the internal of the country. Pay attention to your surroundings. Something that just doesn't look quite right. Unusual people doing unusual things that you're not accustomed to seeing in your immediate surroundings. Bring it up to somebody. Call your local law enforcement. You don't need to dial 911 unless, of course, somebody is holding somebody hostage or is in imminent danger of being shot or beaten, that kind of stuff. But use the non-emergency number and tell them your casual observation and you don't think it's in the best interest of your community. If you can't get any assistance from your local law enforcement folks, step it up a bit. Go to the sheriff. If he's not able to help you in a timely manner, you can always call your state police. If they're not able to help you out in a timely manner, call the number that Johnny gave you. Again, the United Constitutional Patriots Group. We have a few links to some highly influential people at the highest level of government, the executive branch. And once they get there to the cut, I mentioned about trolling on the internet. I've had a little fun with dealing with trolls myself here lately. Make a little comment when somebody gets nasty about our president, and I just tell them that they're delusional, and of course they immediately take offense and they blast some blurb back at me, and I just flat out tell them, well, I was hoping for a battle of wits, but you appear to have arrived unarmed, and then I just leave them stew on that. That'll be my last communication with them, and it gets interesting from there. Trust me on that. Okay, if it should come to more than just soft martial law, intermediate, or maybe even the full blown thing, communications may be shut down. Now, the president has made some arrangements to use the EAP, emergency broadcasts through cell phones, media outlets like radio, possibly television. Another thing is if communications are shut down because of martial law, there are some communication channels that may be left operating. The amateur radio community has groups called ARES, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, and they also have another arm that interfaces with local and county police departments. It's called RACES, which I don't get too terribly involved in that because that allows the police departments to dictate policy to a federally licensed communicator, and that just rubs me the wrong way. So if you know a radio operator, have them find out if they're able to what are called radiograms. Send out some radiograms to let your relatives know what your situation is, what your status is, and that can go a long way to putting some families at ease. So with that, folks, keep your eyes open to your surroundings, report unusual stuff, let us know even if you do let the local folks know, because we have a large vested interest in this stuff. With that, I'll say good night, and I'll let the commander turn it over to the chaplain for the closure. God bless you all, and please continue to help.
Thank you again, Nuclear Warrior. Yeah, one more time, I'm going to give you those addresses and phone numbers for those of you who want to be boots on the ground and help with this situation. I will not give you the location over this. We do have Antifa, other people that have been trying to find out where we were at. So if you want to be boots on the ground, you are a group and you want to help, call me at 505-334-2492. I will give you the information you need. We do have a facility here. There's 16,000 acres involved in it. We have our own rifle range. We have whatever is needed. And this is where everybody's going to report to because they have to be vetted. Their name, their license number, everything has to be documented because we have to give it to the Border Patrol so the Border Patrol knows who is on that border while we're down there. We cooperate 100% with the Border Patrol. So this is what is necessary. So if you want to be boots on the ground, call me at 505-334-2492. If you want to make donations, go to the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page. There is a PayPal on there. All you got to do is donate there. If you want to donate flashlights, camping gear, whatever you can afford to send, anything, send it to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of Johnny Horton, or Mark Connor, or Cheney, Cheeney, Mark Cheney, at Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. And with that, I want to turn this over to Chuck for our closing prayer. Would you please give our closing prayer, Chuck? And remember, pray for all of them that are involved in this, including our kids, everybody.
All right, yes, sir. And I would like to, as we close this show tonight with prayer, I would like to request all of our listeners, everybody listening to this program right now, if you are a Christian, if you are a praying person, please keep the President of the United States, Vice President of the United States, their families, and all those that are working together with them to better this country and to defeat the deep state. Please keep them in your prayers. Please keep in your prayers those who are standing guard on our borders right now and who will be standing guard there. standing guard over our great country. And also, I'd like for you to request. I would like to request that you keep the members of this team right here. They come on this show and talk to you every time we do a show. Keep them in your prayers as well, because some of us have physical problems, some of us have health problems, and but yet we try to sacrifice, I guess you could say, as much as possible to come here and do this work because we love this great country so much. So, with that, if you would bow with me, Lord Jesus, we come before you right now. Thank you once again, Lord, for this another opportunity that we've had. Work that you've given to us to do. And we do it willingly, we do it gladly. We love for you because of our love for this country, our president, our Constitution. Lord Jesus, we thank you for all those who have been here to listen to this program tonight. Without our listeners, we probably wouldn't get a whole lot done. We probably couldn't do this without our listeners. They're very important to us. We thank you, Lord, for this president, for this vice president, for their families, and we thank you, Lord, for all those that are working together with them to the betterment of our nation and the defeat of the deep state. We ask you, Lord, to continue to watch over them. Let your blood of protection be upon them, your angels be encamped around about them, standing watch over them. Ask you, Lord, to continue with all those who are and watch over all those who are standing watch on the border tonight. Those who soon will be standing watch over our border. Watch on our border, standing watch on our. Ask the Lord to be with those who are overseas right now, serving in our military. Those who do what they do each and every day. This great country and for our freedom. Ask the Lord to continue your loving watch care over them. Let your blood be upon them and your angels encamped around about them. Lord, now as we depart from this show, as we close this show, we ask you, Lord, to continue with us now throughout this night and into the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us. Draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. We do ask it all in the wonderful name of Jesus the Christ. Amen and
amen. Amen. Okay, folks, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. We will be back on the air Monday. We're on the air Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. We do have emergency broadcasts. If something comes up, all you got to do is go up if you're listening and click that little bell and you'll be notified whenever we are on the air. Usually if we're on the air, other than Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, is because it is breaking news and or an emergency. We try to keep you informed of everything and the update news and the facts of the news and vetted news. Again, folks, if you have children, watch over them and listen to them. When they hear something or see something, they try to talk. These little folks, they're very observative. Listen to them, and if it's not right, call 911. Keep our president. Thank our president for all he's doing. Our military, our first responders, our police, all of them. And remember that these are the people that keep you safe. And keep your prayers, please, on these kids that we're going to need help with that are on their way here. I'm hoping they guide them our direction, all of them, so we can take these kids away from these people. These people have families too, like your kids. We need to get them back. If we could get these kids and have them back to their families for Christmas, how would you feel if it was your child? This is what you got to think about. Also, too, with the other illegal stuff coming across the border, we need to stop it. And we're the only way that we're going to do it. We are the only people that are have people on the border and in a position to where we can make a difference. We can make a difference with your help. So please give if you can. God bless you. Have a great evening. Until next time, good night.
Thanks for joining us on the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show tonight. God bless all you patriots and have a great night.